First of all, please admire how beautiful this setup looks. So, the footage you will see in this video is from the third day of the first German Downwind catch-up. And yeah, I was using the Leviathan 1350 and my vampire board. And yeah, as you can see, at the beach it looked really flat. And when I arrived to the spot, I texted a few of the boys like, hey guys, the waves are gone. But yeah, turned out I was wrong. If you paddle out far enough, you can catch some nice waves. And yeah, it looked dead flat from the beach up. But yeah, 500 meters outside. And you can see there was quite some swell. The day had, I think, about up to 15 knots. So yeah, not so much of wind. There were barely any white caps, but like a few, but yeah, not so many. But still, the swell went pretty good. And yeah, so one after another, we took off, the ones who were able to took off. And yeah, for me, the first time on this day, this is already the third one or something for the day, it felt so strange on the Leviathan. And I think that's because I used the Gong Veloz XXL the day before, which is a faster foil, or otherly said, the foil that takes way more speed to pedal it up. And this was really strange because the day before in the 25 knots, I really had to not to work really hard, but I needed to generate a lot of speed to get on foil. And here this completely changed. As the Leviathan, I mean, I can easily pedal this thing up in flat water with like right now about 5 strokes. So the problem was that the Leviathan came out of the water too early. So what happened is that I took off, but the wave just overtook me, and then I stalled on the back of the wave. And yeah, I really needed to adjust to that, and yeah, I really had to try to keep the foil down until I had reached the speed of the wave, and then take off on foil, which was yeah really strange to consider. But after yeah the second one worked way better already. And from there on, I had an absolute blast. I think this was the most fun day for me out of 45, like up to 45, 25 and 15 knots. I had the most fun in these 15 knot conditions. But yeah, I'm also used to this foil already for flat water pumping. So I know how to pump it and how to steer it, and it works well. But one thing which I found really strange was on the flat water pumping, I put the shims in reverse, so I give the stabilizer 0 degrees, and it feels amazing when pumping the flat water for me. As I feel like I might be pretty biased, but I feel like it has less drag and glides further with 0 degrees in the stabilizer. And on my first 2 ones here, I had the same setup. But all of a sudden I needed some more feedback from the foil, so it was really hard for me to feel the foil. So yeah, I took out the shims and put the stabilizer back in the factory position, which is minus 2.3 degrees on this fuselage, and it was way better for downwinding as I suddenly felt the foil again. I had some feedback, and yeah, I preferred that. But I think looking at the footage and also feeling my legs after the one, my back leg burned out super heavy, and the board was pointing downwards most of the time when riding. So I think another way to address this would maybe be putting in a shim under the base plate instead of just shimming the stabilizer. But I don't know if the takeoffs are yeah, strange if the foil points downwards, but yeah, this thing has so much lift it comes off immediately. The next thing I was super happy about was the speed. And that's because I wasn't sure if my pump setup would be fast enough to even keep up with the Ocean Swell, or the Ostsee Windwellen Swell. And it was, and that was such an amazing feeling for me, because the foil I most frequently used before, the Gong Curve XLT, it might get as fast as the Leviathan 1350, but if it's at the same speed, it creates way more drag. So I felt like if I was winging it in the waves and the wing was on the side, the waves overtook me, and it was just not fast enough. And the Leviathan has, yeah, not so much of drag. So yeah, I could just stay in the waves, and I was so happy that it worked because yeah, I love the setup in the flat water. I really do. I will cover it in another video. And yeah, therefore I loved it too in the waves. It was just amazing. And also the wingspan of 1.35 m was quite manageable, which is another thing where I thought it could get problematic if this foil goes fast, to still be able to steer it. But yeah, I didn't have a problem with that whatsoever. So I really enjoyed it, and I will take this foil downwinding in the future too, as the glide was just insane. I mean, in this run I pumped a lot, but I had a few runs when I catch the perfect wave where I could just, it felt like gliding endlessly, because also when going out of the wave I kept a lot of speed, so I didn't need to pump so much to get in the wave behind it. And then also, like, coming back to the shore where the waves got smaller, I was surprised by how far I could take it without even really seeing a wave. So yeah, the glide is just insane on this thing. But one huge downside for this setup for me, as yeah, it's my pumping setup, and I do really enjoy a short fuselage for pumping. And here I used, or for my pumping setup also, I have the SAB, I think it's called 663 something. It's really short. So the pitch stability of the foil is extremely unstable. And when pump foiling, I love it, because it just, yeah, it doesn't steal so much of your energy. However, in downwind foiling, you get way more speed. And pitch instability is so hard to deal with in higher speed ranges. And I'm surprised that it doesn't look like I'm struggling a lot on the GoPro footage, but I did. I constantly had to worry about the pitch stability and the angle of attack, kind of, because I feel like pump foiling at I don't know, 15 kilometers an hour or slower or something, if you point it up really hard or down really hard, you're not so fast, so you have time to adjust your mistake. But here in the wave, like in this moment, when you're moving forward with quite some speed and your pitch is off for just a split of a second, you will breach the foil immediately, or you will nosedive the board immediately. And yeah, it happened quite often to me on the day. Still, I got used to it, but if I could decide right now, I would definitely go for a longer fuse, as yeah, the pitch stability was just a real pain in the ass to deal with. And yeah, here you can see the end of the run coming in behind the mole. It's like, I think, 1.5 kilometers. And that's what I was talking about earlier already. I mean, you can barely see the waves. And also for me coming in there, I thought like, no way that there's enough power that I can ride the foil back to the beach. But you can see me gliding, still gliding. There is basically no wave at all. It was so flat in there. Which also got me thinking about how inefficient I'm still at downwinding, as outside is way more power and I'm still pumping. But yeah, I had an absolute blast. This was like, or these were some of the best sessions I had so far. And yeah, I really love it. I can't wait for more of it.